So I've always been a fan of zombie films, and it did come at a time when there's a bit of a lull in the zombie genre, and the zombie genre does seem to kind of come up and it comes and goes every now and then, but it did seem to sort of start a whole new resurgence of zombie films afterwards, I guess. So yeah, obviously influenced by George Romero zombie films mostly, so Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. So those two films are referenced quite a lot as far as from a makeup effects point of view. And Edgar Wright, the director, he's like a real fan of all this stuff. Simon Pegg is as well. So as they're writing, they're writing a lot of the gags with particular effects in mind from particular films. I think when I did The Hulking Zombie, when he was on set the first day, Simon Pegg was saying how much it looked like was it Uncle Reg from the remake of Night of the Living Dead, which was the kind of that intention to have this sort of bloated, big sort of bloated sort of dead-looking thing. So saying how it looked a lot like, reminded him of that. When Dylan Moran's getting pulled apart, we were referencing Day of the Dead. Obviously, the character gets pulled apart in that. So, and a sort of a twist. So a lot of these kind of gags were in the film, but they're kind of plays on gags that you've seen before. So it was somebody being pulled apart, but the idea was that it's supposed to be crowd surfing. So is he's pulled out of the window? It's supposed to. It didn't quite work out like that for practical reasons, but the initial idea was that it's kind of crowd surfing along a crowd of zombies basically. But for practical sake, the body needed to be lower within the crowd for them to be able to sort of get hold of it. But the kind of intention there was that and you see the head kind of carried off in the crowd. So the idea was this sort of crowd surfing in pieces. Simon Pegg was really good fun and very and generally everyone was good fun and enthusiastic as well because it's a comedy. It's all very upbeat and creative. Everyone's sort of trying to. Put ideas in that they're going to make the project better. So it's just really good. Just a good sort of working environment. Just good fun. So Simon's great. Great fun and knows his material really well as far as references that we were making from one thing to another. So there's a lot of that kind of input and he'd kind of compliment on stuff as well. As things are going to you're kind of doing. Sort of doing the right thing. And Edgar was good fun, like very kind of open to ideas and suggestions as well. Wouldn't sort of shut things down and just kind of, would be really kind of easy to, sort of let those ideas that you have kind of come to fruition really. So it's really really kind of open. And Nick Frost was good fun as well. So he'd kind of on set just be very very funny and sort of. Joke around and kind of had me laughing. So I did his zombie makeup, so that was actually scheduled. It came up pretty quickly. So originally we weren't sure how he was going to look. There's three of us doing the build for everything, so we were kind of just busy getting everything ready. I remember his makeup coming up fairly. It's kind of fairly central within the build of everything else, so didn't really have a lot of time to sort of prepare for it, but it got, we had ideas for other looks that would be more kind of surface texture and detail, but Edgar wanted this really heavy brow. I was a bit concerned that it might make him look like a Neanderthal, but I think that was kind of the idea as well, that that it just basically makes him more of an idiot, that he's like more Neanderthal-like. So the brow, this really kind of heavy, very, very heavy sort of brow was kind of settled on. I remember we kind of went to the garden once and came back, and so overall I think it's filmed over about 12 days probably. Might have been slightly less, but and then part of it went into the studio as well, when they're kind of inside the house. But yeah, so there's lots of different elements involved. So there was some makeup stuff, some digital stuff. So a few different elements to that. So everything was storyboarded as well. So it was really well planned out in advance. That everyone knew what was needed to be built and who was going to do what, and so it was all kind of broken down in that respect. So from the storyboard, we kind of start building the stuff that we needed. And then, then it's a case of shooting it on location. So there's a digital sort of part of it as well, handled by another company. But on set, we were doing. So I think initially there's the makeup on the big zombies, referred to in the script as the hulking man. So it's just like this big, big sort of dollop of a zombie. And then, so Edgar always kind of referenced it, that he wanted it to look like he'd sort of had his lips sort of bitten off in a kiss. That was kind of the description, that they were kind of just like plucked off. So his eye as well is kind of swollen up and closed up. So we incorporate that into the design, because the record gets, the record that gets thrown at him sort of lodges into his eye. We needed to figure out some way that we could have that sort of sticking into his eye, basically. So it made things a little bit simpler down the line to have this closed up eye already. So it just kind of got rid of any awkward sort of other ways of doing it. So it's kind of done for speed, really, more than anything else. So there's the prosthetic makeup. We did some dummy bodies of the girl zombie as well, the salesman zombie, and the hulking zombie as well. So we had to do life casts of them, make dummy versions of them as well. So when they get hit with the spades, there's two sort of dummies that are getting hit with the spades. They literally like smashed them and pummeled them with the spades. Like I say, from behind they get knocked down. And then there are the records that get thrown. So the special effects department, they made some wax records that could be thrown and they sort of shatter. They had some on wires, and then one of the records skims her face. So that's a digital record that was added in post-production. So you see like a digital record there. But I did a little sort of piece on the cheek with fishing line and a little piece of skin that covered it up. So and put her hair on top of the wire that was leading off. So then when she sort of threw her head back, pulled the little flap of skin off, and it kind of revealed this little cut on her cheek, lifted the hair up as well, so then the record could be optically or digitally added, so it looks like it cuts her cheek. And then there's another record that smashes him in the face as well, so that was done as a digital record as well, with a real piece of record sort of stuck in his eye as well. So lots of different elements all kind of coming together. So we made a dummy section that goes onto the pole that the girl falls onto. We made a prosthetic for her chest as well. So lots of different pieces made that all kind of all brought together sort of in the editing and with the digital work as well. So he's got he gets bitten on the neck by a zombie. So we did a prosthetic, like a wraparound neck prosthetic. Had a little plug of skin on there, and then some bits of like sort of tendril kind of sort of texture and detail stuff. So when he's bitten on the neck, we sort of had a blood bladder on there as well, so the blood could be pumped out after he's bitten. And these sort of tendrils and things were kind of fed into that. So when it's pulled, they kind of get a little bit of stretch as the thing's bitten. So we couldn't really do it as a piece that was. So normally, if you do like an effect where skin's bitten, you might want to see like some ripping and stuff going on. But for speed, because they want to reset and kind of redo it, it's this like plug of skin that basically be stuck on, and then the guy that did the biting, he would latch onto the piece and then just pull that out. And and it's just it's a really nice guy, and we'd sort of chit chat and whatnot. So he's big into music, so we talked about music a lot. It's a really cool guy. And then So there's a few of us on set doing that stuff, and I think it was on after we finished. We all went out for a dinner, and a pint, and we bumped into him round the corner from where we were having a lunch, and he said, "Hello boys, how you doing?" And he kind of recognised us, and just had a little bit of a chat. But he's really, it's very, very down to earth, fun guy. Really proud of working on it, and it was like an honour to be asked to work on it as well. And it's I think after 10 years, the fact it's still popular, still up, people are still asking questions about it and stuff. It's great. It's good that it's so popular. But I'm not quite sure why it is as popular as it is. It is very funny. It is engaging. But I think it just hit the right note at the right time, and it's just taken off from there. But from very kind of humble beginnings as well. It's seems to have done really well. They're quite at the time quite a new sort of production company. So for them, it's worked out really, really well. It's great. It's just a really good project to be involved in, and it's just given lots of sort of leeway and stuff. It's just good, good experience all round.